Hello, I'm Fritz Kern. This year, Isuzu is entering an important time of change and growth. What follows is intended to demonstrate how we at American Isuzu are preparing for this growth, and to ask you to join us as partners every step of the way. In terms of the products we bring to this market and the methods we employ to market them, we're going to fix the name Isuzu into the minds of Americans, so that when they think about buying a high-quality, high-value vehicle, they will think Isuzu. In short, we're setting out on a bold new road where we want to join together with you, our dealers and our dealership staff, to enrich our brand image by introducing products which meet changing consumer needs, by improving the way we communicate with potential customers, and by adopting more effective ways of delivering customer service. Enhancing our brand image is probably one of the best things we can all do to boost sales and profits, and to make sure that we're in the race for the long term. As proof of our image-building commitment, the all-new Trooper, our flagship vehicle, has been dramatically transformed. More than just an exciting new vehicle, Trooper embodies the vision of Isuzu's bold new road. With the new Trooper, we're entering a sophisticated upscale market, a market that will provide us with greater sales and profit potential, but which will also demand much greater levels of service, not just meeting, but exceeding your customers' expectations. And to do this, you'll need improved levels of product knowledge, and you'll need to know how to present this next generation Trooper to a more discerning consumer. Let's take a closer look at the all-new 1992 Trooper, the most exciting vehicle to enter the SUV market ever.
Right away, Isuzu took the lead with the Trooper. It was a fundamental sport utility. They were two-door only, and they were utilitarian and basic, bare-bone price to sell in this marketplace. We introduced the 1984 Trooper, which had been in overseas markets for a number of years, and it started selling very well. And pretty soon, it became the import leader in that segment. We're really talking about the compact sport utility segment. The sport utility market's really driven by three different segments: the minis, characterized by the Amigo; compact sport utilities, which will be about 75% of the market; and then the full-size, the old Fords and big Blazers, Land Cruiser, Suburban. With the Rodeo and the Amigo in our lineup, it allows Isuzu to become the first manufacturer to really segment the sport utility lineup. The compact sport utility segment is a rapidly growing segment. We expect an increase from about 650,000 back in the past couple of years to about 780,000 in 1992. So while other segments of the industry are declining, we are participating in the one growing segment. Our goal was to create a sport utility that was responsive to proven user needs, and we think we've accomplished that. My original thought was, if Mercedes built one, this is what it would look like. The proof is in the pudding, and I think once the consumer's in it, feels the quality that's built into the vehicle, feels the control that he has when he's driving down the road, that it'll be an easy sell.
The upscale buyer wants a vehicle that combines practicality and value. What we're offering is a vehicle that I think you'll agree is a right-on-target response to that need. In looks alone, this vehicle has all the marks of a classic, but the Trooper is much more than great looks.
And the design philosophy was from a user standpoint. In the sketch stage and the scale model stage, we explore the concepts to the design, so we're clear as to what it is we're trying to do. I always started doing kind of high-tech military look type vehicles. They were more like Star Wars, hard-edged spaceships or whatever. What ended up happening visually is the thing got really heavy looking, and you didn't believe that it could go off-road. So then we went back again, backed off, and lightened it up and made it more traditional four-wheel drive feeling to it. Here in Los Angeles, they're putting up a lot of postmodern style buildings, and so our thinking was that we were going to take the strength that those buildings had with the real thicker pillars and smaller windows and kind of classic proportions and apply that same thinking to the Trooper. You mostly notice it in the upper part. The rear window is kind of floating inside of a smooth body surface panel, and that, to me, looks very postmodern. The early design of the wheels, we were trying to make this thing look a little bit more integrated, and we were trying to make it look solid too, and we had images of Rolex watches and stuff where it's got this really beefy, solid metal look. Well, the door handles were an evolution of functionality, basically. Our thinking was that because it was an off-road vehicle, people would be using it with gloves and mittens, and so the handle allowed you to grab it a lot easier with a glove on. The front and rear fenders cover the tires completely, so if you are pushing the vehicle in snow or mud, you're not going to get sprayed. The whole lower portion from front to rear has got this plastic cover to protect the body side, so it does look good after you've abused it off-road. When we reconfigured the outside of the car, we added a lot of mass to the front end to give it more of a strong image. And when we did that, the interior also got more massive. It kind of gives you a feeling of safety and security inside with the new dashboard. And all the controls on the dashboard are very large and easy to use. The radio came up, obviously, so it was easier to use. All the air conditioning moved up on the car, too. So by getting it up above the level of the front seats, it improves air conditioning on the inside. The inside's got the rear folding seats. The old seats had soft backs to them, and if you threw anything on top of it, like a bicycle, you're always afraid that the pedal or the handlebar is going to poke a hole in the back of the seat, so the new seats have a hard back to them. So we just went through the car one item at a time, like the rear deflector is there to keep the rear window clean. And the old one sat proud of the rear end, and so it had a sharp edge to catch up on things. So what we did was we basically just took the air deflector and moved it closer to the body, and then contoured the roof down so that the air would go underneath this thing and down in the rear window. My father-in-law, I talked him into buying a Trooper 3 or 4 years ago, and for some reason, I don't know what led him to this, but he's underneath the car crawling around, and he finds this void, this area between the frame and the chassis, down below the rear seat. And he says, "What's that for? You're wasting this space." So he's thinking about putting a gas tank or something in there. But when we went to redesign the thing, I remembered that was down there, and so we put that compartment underneath the seat for valuables and be able to lock it up and no one knows it's there. It's kind of a hidden compartment. From the beginning of this project, I realized that the consumer really knows a lot more about their vehicles or the way that they use them than we think they do. And so from the whole design process, through the whole design process, we've definitely kept the consumers in mind.
Our designers and engineers started from scratch with the all-new Trooper. The result? A vehicle that Off-Road magazine calls the best new compact import sport utility to grace the U.S. market. Here's more about the thinking that went into this great new product.
Our job here at ITCA is to develop the cars for the U.S. market. The way the car feels when you touch it and when you steer it and when you brake it, the force levels and the sensations that you get and the sound that you get from the car as you're driving it, which are the things that are really fundamentally important to the customer, those are all things we can tune and create a character for the car. And development is to make all of those things fit and make the car harmonious in its feel so the customer appreciates it as value for his money.
The horsepower is the most significant factor. 190 horsepower is going to enable you to tow 5,000 pounds. In the new Trooper V6, the torque is right at the most common operating range, which is in that area of 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. That's your highway cruising speeds, and that's where the torque range is the most effective. And when you have a lot of torque in that mid-range, that will give you the passing power and that will give you the towing power. You won't have to downshift and you won't have to make special preparations for hills that are coming up. The extra engine power just allows you to maintain your 55-mile-an-hour speed. In designing a 75-degree engine, Isuzu opted for a more compact design. In having a smaller, narrower engine, it allowed them to give more room between the wheels, and that in turn gave them a better suspension movement, and that increase in wheel travel directly relates to a better ride control, smoother ride control, and better handling of the vehicle. The direct ignition system is activated by a trigger mechanism directly off the crankshaft of the engine, and in effect it eliminates the extra moving parts of a distributor. And the timing then is directly sent to an ECM, which is an electronic control module. Now you have a better flame travel. It gives you a hotter spark. So you have durability, but you have fuel efficiency as well. The winter start mode has nothing to do with the actual starting of the engine. It's a transmission feature found on the electronically controlled 4-speed automatic. The customer can select the winter start mode by pressing a button, and when he does so, it engages an electronic mode within the transmission that allows him to start out on wet or slippery, frozen surfaces.
We've worked very hard on the suspension system to make it so that it gives the customer the sort of ride and handling he expects. An example is the rear suspension on the car, which is a multi-link design. The purpose of that system is to provide wheel control so that you always have a secure and stable feeling when the car is in extreme handling situations. When we get into an off-road situation, we want good wheel travel so that we have plenty of room to take up bumps and shocks. The multi-link design is designed to allow that kind of full wheel travel. We could get that wheel travel in other ways, but then if we used a different design, we would lose on-road performance and handling. With this type of vehicle, the sport utility vehicle, we're really trying to take something that already is rugged and robust for off-road performance and give it refinement that it wouldn't otherwise have for on-road use. And those are two very different sorts of design targets from an engineering point of view. We endeavor to try to make a system that performs according to customer expectations while also making sure that the customer gets value for his money.
It provides a vehicle for everyone. It has something for every member of the family, every lifestyle, and it does it very well. It's a good on-highway vehicle, but yet you could drive it back and forth to work every day and then take it on a fishing or hunting trip on the weekends. You can go skiing with it. It has four-wheel drive capability. It just about takes the place of, say, 4 or 5 vehicles in one.
Car and Driver magazine has said, we're pitting the Trooper against the established class leaders for sports utility bragging rights. And I think you'll agree that we have something to brag about. Here's how we stack up against the competition.
People want more out of a vehicle, so the Trooper has changed with the people. Its main competitors will be the Mitsubishi Montero because it's new to the market, the Ford Explorer because it's the market leader. The Trooper, compared to its competitors, if it's not number one, then it's number 2 in any category. Does the longest wheelbase mean the best? A tractor trailer has a longer wheelbase than a Trooper, but I doubt you'd want to take it off-road. A moving van has more cargo space than a Trooper, but would you want to park it in your garage and would it fit? It doesn't do one thing great and sacrifice in another area. It does everything well.
Explorer's it's a nice station wagon. The Trooper's a sports utility, and you can tell that from the driving. The Explorer has a totally different character. It's more like a passenger sedan. It's real sloppy and vague. You're not really in control. We wanted more of an import flavor with our vehicle, a tighter feeling and confident ride that you experience in the Trooper.
The Trooper has 70-30 split rear door, just like the old Trooper. And what that means is that there's a big door that opens from the right to the left, which means the handle's near the right of the vehicle, and you'd open it towards the left. Greater access to the rear in a tight space. In the Montero, the door opens from left to right, which is not really the right side of the vehicle to open from. If you're parked on the right curb, you'd have to walk around the door out into the street to get into the Montero's cargo area. I mean, that's really got to be a pain in the ass, unless you lived in England, then it would be okay. Now, the Explorer, you open the door up all the way, and you're 5'3". Now you can't reach the door to close it, which means you have to pull it down, and then you have to quickly let go and grab it on top to close it. So that's what you'd see. That's why our doors are fantastic. Let's say you took the Explorer and the Montero and the Trooper, and you loaded them all up with 5,000-pound trailers, got ready to tow. First thing you'd have to do is take 1,000 pounds off of the Montero's trailer because it can only tow 4,000 pounds. But even with the Montero towing 4,000 and the Trooper towing 5,000 and the Explorer towing 5,000, you'd see the Montero and the Explorer falling back, losing speed. You'd see the Trooper maintaining its speed up the hill.
On all items, Trooper is at the top or in the top on all categories, and you can't say that for the other vehicles. And so we're not number one across the board, but in all categories we are at or near the top. And so when you can take that in consideration with the balancing of the powertrain and the suspension and the body engineering, we think we've got the best vehicle in class.
Our goal is to virtually recast Isuzu's image in the American market. Let's face it, image building is a financial investment in our franchise's future. Just as the Trooper itself embodies our vision, so too our advertising is more than just TV spots and print ads. It's tangible evidence of the way we'll relate to an entirely new market. Not only our Trooper customers, but all of our customers. The goal of our SUV advertising effort is very simple. Consumers considering the purchase of a sports utility vehicle must include Isuzu on their shopping list. Assuming we get this part of the job done, then it's up to you to attract the customer to your dealership and make the sale. Let's take a look at some of the bold new thinking that went into our advertising campaign.
The marketplace is changing. The consumers are changing, the products are changing, the decisions that consumers have to make are changing. They not only have to make decisions about college education, about where to live, about how much money to spend, about what their career is doing, but they have to make decisions about what cars they purchase and the value of those vehicles, and not just the price. And as consumers become more concerned with the seriousness of spending an average of $15,000 for a vehicle, the consideration of those vehicles becomes more serious, and they're looking for companies that will satisfy not only their purchase considerations, but their dependability considerations, the concerns for not just how much the car cost, but how much will it cost to insure, how much will it cost to repair. Isuzu has products designed to meet those needs and to match the concerns that the consumer has as they make their decisions and their financial decisions and their lifestyle decisions in the changing marketplace. We did a number of focus groups, both with owners and prospects, owners of competitive vehicles as well as our own. And we found that they were surprised by the new Trooper, that It was a much more elegantly designed vehicle, yet it still had a lot of the same functional elements of the old Trooper.
And then when I saw it, I was really impressed with it. I was surprised that it was an Isuzu.
The body style was totally different than I expected. And I really liked the way the interior looked and felt, but it looks expensive.
Value is an element that includes in its equation quality, reputation, some intrinsic things like the personality of the vehicle, the way somebody feels inside of a vehicle, the way somebody senses other people viewing them is a value, is part of that equation that consumers mix when they consider buying a vehicle. So I think just merely to suggest that value is a price equation is incorrect. The combination of advertising, marketing, and this particular product is going to get a lot of people in the dealership. People in the dealership equates to sales. Sales equates to profit. The Trooper is going to be the flagship of Isuzu. It is a visible change in the direction of Isuzu to establish their own brand identity. For a salesperson, the Trooper prospect represents an educated, high-income prospect that has the opportunity not only to buy this vehicle, but in fact to be a loyal Isuzu prospect for a number of years. The new advertising takes into consideration where the consumer is. It's a very human approach. It tells the consumer that we at Isuzu have done our homework, that we know what they go through. We know what their concerns are, we know what their desires are, we know what they're looking for in a product, and we have the answer.
I hope by now you share with us the conviction that the demand is out there, and that our new flagship vehicle is going to make a huge and positive impact on current and potential customers. Let me re-emphasize that what you've seen here concerning product development and marketing programs for the new Trooper is representative of what's in store for all of our products in the months and years ahead. To conclude, I want to share with you another rave review from the press. No other company offers this breadth of product in the sports utility category. With the upscale movement of the Trooper and its first-rate execution, Isuzu truly offers a product for just about any buyer. I look forward with confidence to a future where the Isuzu franchise will reach new heights in sales, profits, and customer satisfaction, where the name Isuzu is synonymous with high quality, high value, and distinction. American Isuzu's ready to meet this challenge. Are you? Let's travel this bold new road together.